Hi, welcome to Storytime today. Before our story, I have someone who wanted to see you, who got a haircut. You might not even recognize him. Look who this is, with no hair and his very posh looking little ears. This is Gus Gus, looking so different without all his thick fur. He just wanted to come by and say hi and show you his nice haircut because it's been a while. His hair was getting so long. And now we're ready to read our story today, The Robots. And this is a story about a family who's new to town. One day, the strangest vehicle anyone had ever seen drove down Littlewood Lane. Mrs. Pebbles stared in amazement as it stopped in front of the old Wilson house. The strangest of strange families stepped out of the vehicle. "Hello," they said together. "We are the Robots. I am Dad. I am Mom. I am Widget, and I am Toggle. You must be our new neighbors." Mr. Pebbles shrieked and ran into his yard. "He must be very shy," said Dad. The robots said hello to the mailbox. They said hello to the fire hydrant, and they said hello to the lamppost. The mailbox, the fire hydrant, and the lamppost did not say a word. "Everyone here is very shy," said Mom. "Now we must make ourselves at home," said Dad. "Yes," Mom said, "then we will be absolutely happy." "The lawn is the wrong color," said Toggle. "The trees are the wrong shape," said Widget. "I must plant the garden," said Mom, "and I must fix the house," said Dad. They unloaded the vehicle. "Kids, be careful with that furniture," Mom warned. "That is right," said Dad. "We do not want to break anyone that we know." When they were all moved in, they stood back and admired their new home. "It is a little plain," Dad remarked, "but we can always add on later." Do you notice, does their house look a little bit different than everyone else's house? I wonder how everyone might feel when something's really different. Dad went to look for a job, but no one would hire him. "Perhaps I am dressed wrong," said Dad. Mom went shopping, but no one would sell her anything. "Maybe I have the wrong kind of money," said Mom. Do you think that's very kind, that people won't hire him and people won't let her shop because they're different? Widget and Toggle went to school, but they were not allowed in. "Maybe it is the holiday," said Toggle. So the robots went back to their house. "I do not feel at home," said Widget. "I am not absolutely happy," sniffed Toggle. "Do not cry," said Mom. "You will rest. Things will work out," said Dad. Wonder how they're feeling. How do you think they might be feeling now? Seems like people aren't being very kind to them. They're not being very inclusive. But over at the Pebbles house, the neighbors had a meeting. "Their house is ugly," shouted Mrs. Pebbles. "They talk to the mailbox," cried Mr. Bumpus. "They are too different," yelled Miss Griswold. I think they're from another planet," said Sammy Pebbles. "I think they're from another galaxy," said Betty Pebbles. "Even worse," said Mr. Pebbles. "I think they're from the big city." That really scared everyone. "They have to go," shouted Mr. Bumpus. Do you think that's true, that just because people are different, they have to leave? Or they have to go? Wonder what you might do if you saw someone who was really different. They all marched over to the robot's house and banged on the door. "Hello," said the robots together. "We are the robots. I am Dad. I am Mom. I am Widget. And I am Toggle." "Yes," said Mr. Pebbles. "We already know that. Please come in," said Dad. Everyone stepped cautiously inside. The house was unlike anything they had ever seen. "My word," said Mr. Bumpus. "My goodness," said Mrs. Griswold. "My hat," cried Mr. Pebble, as some mechanical creature ran off with his hat. That is just Cousin Coat-Rack, said Mom. He is such a practical joker. The robots showed everyone around. This is the living room, said Dad. Wow, said Mr. Pebbles. Where did you get the flying furniture? Just a little something I put together, said Dad. I like to build things. Me too, said Mr. Pebbles. I bet my boss at the Gizmo store would like to meet you. Ooh-wee, this is fun, cried Mrs. Griswold. Here is the kitchen, said Mom. The refrigerator said, rink-a-tink-tink, have a cool drink. The stove said, huff, puff, puff, I bake good stuff. And the sink said, blub, dub, dub, what can I scrub? And the garbage can said, burp. Wow, what a great kitchen, exclaimed Mrs. Pebbles. Yes, said Mom, I love to cook. I love to cook too, said Mr. Bumpus. Me too, said Mrs. Pebbles. Did you know the market is having a big sale tomorrow? The kids played all afternoon in the playroom. Wow, these are the best toys I've ever seen, cried Sammy. Everyone at school will be amazed, said Betty. I thought everyone had toys like these, said Toggle. Me too, said Widget. Dinner time, called Mom. I made the cheeseburgers, proclaimed Mrs. Bumpus. I made the French fries, said Mrs. Pebble proudly. The food is very odd, said Dad, but tasty. And for dessert they all had Mom's special chocolate-covered propellers. Then it was time to go. Cousin Coat-Rack gave Mr. Pebble his hat back. This is the most fun I've had in years, said Miss Griswold. Me too, said Mr. Bumpus. I'll see you at work, said Mr. Pebbles. I'll see you at the market, said Mrs. Pebble. We'll see you at school, said Sammy and Betty. I wonder how everyone's feeling now after they've spent some time together and got to know each other. Look at their faces. The robot stood at the door and waved. Now I really do feel at home, said Mom. Oh, yes, said Widget and Toggle. I agree, said Dad. And the robots were absolutely happy. Even if some of their neighbors were a little strange. And that's the end of the story. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.